Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of Enthralling SudokuManiacs. Now, today's puzzle has a bit of history to it. In 2015, the first and the only World Championship for kids in Sudoku took place in China. The World Puzzle Federation was trying to see what the response of the countries would be if they tried to have a World Championship catering to children. India also had sent in a team for the various age categories, and before they flew to China, they had a 2-day training session in Kolkata, which was led by Prasanna, who is one of the topmost puzzle solvers in the world and is also the director uh, at the World Puzzle Federation. So he had created this practice puzzle for the kids to practice on consecutive pairs. And the competition that was uh, conducted to select the Indian team was known as Sudoku Champs. Hence, you can see that the dots form the shape of the letters S and C and the letter number 1, which was basically the first and the only edition of Sudoku Champs. So yesterday when I was speaking with Prasanna, he was telling me that this turned out to be a very good puzzle and maybe I should have a look at it. And I thought, why not present it to all of you? So coming to the rules of the Sudoku, the rules of classic Sudoku apply. That is, no digit can repeat in any row, column, or a 3x3 bold outline box. And additionally, wherever a circle is present between two cells, the digits in those two cells have to be consecutive. Now, this does not have to be confused with the consecutive Sudoku, because in a consecutive Sudoku, the absence of a bar means the digits cannot be consecutive. However, here, the absence of a circle does not mean the digits are not consecutive. So digits may be consecutive or may not be consecutive, which basically means not all the possible circles are marked. Having said that, as I always tell you, I always try to look at any variant initially as a classic. So I try to see the possibilities of all the numbers that can be placed using the classic elimination method. Say for example, if this is a 7 and this is a 7, for column 2 the 7 has to be in these three, right? Similarly, if this is a 7, this is a 7, 7 has to be in these. But with only 12 given digits, it's very difficult to find a place for digits directly using classic methods. So how do we start it? Now, one thing that we always have to remember is when we say two digits are consecutive, we can be assured that they are of opposite parities. That is, if one is odd, the other one would be an even digit, right? And now this usage of the parity really helps us in solving these kind of Sudokus. So now, the first thing that I notice here is with the 9 and 7 both available in column 3, the digit 8 can never be beside a circle because I cannot place a second 7 or a 9. Hence 8 cannot be in all these cells, and this is the only place for an 8. And if you remember what I was speaking about, the converse rule, the 8 and 7 are beside each other, yet there is no circle. So once again, I would like to iterate that let us not confuse these consecutive pair Sudoku with the regular and a normal consecutive Sudoku. Right? And now using classic rules, 8 cannot be here, it cannot be in here. So in box 9, there are only two possibilities of an 8. Correct? Similarly, this 9 cannot be here. It cannot be along the circle because it would require another 8 and we already have the 8 which is given. Hence, we can safely assume the 9 in box 3 is logged in column 7. And by classic rules, in box 9, 9 cannot be in R7 C7 and R8 C7. It cannot be in R9 C9. It can also not be present in R7 C9 because of the circle. We would require an 8 at R6 C9. Hence the only place for a 9 would be in column 8. Now this opens up a few possibilities for us, because if R7 C8 were an 8, I cannot have a 7 here because the 7 is already given, and neither can I have a 9 because the 9 is already logged in box 9. So we can safely eliminate the 8 from here, and we know for sure this is an 8. Correct? Good so far? Now, if this were a 9, this would be an 8, which would make this again a 9 because we already have a 7, which would again push an 8 here, which would not be possible. Right? So that helps us in eliminating 9 also from R7C8, and we have a 9 here. Now, the missing digits are 1, 3, 4 and 5. I can't have a 1 or a 5, so this has to be 3 and a 4. 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5. Alright? Now we'll come back to this box later. Let's have a quick look at column 2. We have an 8 which is given, and then we have 3 circles. Correct? Which basically means these 3 circles will have 3 sets of an odd and an even digit. And with the 8 already given, of the 9 digits, all the 4 even numbers have been accounted for. So we can safely assume that this digit will be an odd digit. I always mark it with an O. Now marking blank cells based on the parity really helps us narrow down the possibilities for a cell. Alright, so we know this has to be a odd number. Now, when I look at box 9, coming back to box 9 again, right? I have 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5. So let's assume if this was one of the odd numbers, right? So this would become an even, this would become an odd, or I'll just remove these possibilities and place an odd, even, even. Alright? Or if this was an even digit, this would be an, odd, even, and an odd. Now what does this tell us? It means that one of these two digits has to be an even digit. And with 2, 6 and 8 already available in the box, I can safely assume this even digit has to be a 4. Right? So if the 4 is locked here, this has to be a 3. And with 1, 3, 7, 9 locked here, this becomes my 5. And this would be a pencil mark of 1, 5. Correct? And with the 4 in row 7 logged in box 9, the 4 cannot occur in these 3 cells. So my 4 is locked here, and I get a triplet of 2, 3, 6. 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 6. Correct? Now, what are the remaining digits in the row? That would be 1, 5, 7, 9, 1, 5, 7, 9, 1, 5, 7, 9. And if you notice, all of these are odd digits. So if this is an odd, this would be an even. This, this would be an odd, even, and that would make this one as an odd number. The only odd number there would be a 3. So using the parities, we have found out one more. And if this is a 3, this has to be a 2 and a 4. How do we drill it down further? Now when I look at it, this column still requires a 1 to be placed, and all the cells have a circle associated with it. What that basically means is, irrespective of where 1 comes, the 2 will always be paired with a 1. Hence, this has to be a 4. Otherwise, I can not place the 1 in column. And if that's a 4, this would be a 3, 5. And here, it would be either 2 or a 6. So if it is a 2, I can have a 1 here. If it's a 6, I can have a 5, 7. Hence, I can safely eliminate the 9 from there. Alright, and with this 1, 5, 7, 9, I can have a 2, 6, 8 here. And there's one more. This would be a 2 and an 8. Right? Because the 4 and 6 are already there. Assuming it's an or here it will be 2 and a 6. But I cannot have an 8 here. The reason being, I cannot place a 7 or a 9 here. So either it will be an odd digit or it has to be a 2. Right? Now, which basically means the 8 in box 6 has to be either here or here. And wherever the 8 comes, the 9 and a 7 would follow. Right? So the 9 for box 6 is logged in rows 4 and 5, column 9. Which brings me to row 6. In box 6, I cannot have a 9 for the row 6. Neither can I have a 9 in box 5 as well. This is a 4. 9 cannot be here. So the only place for a 9 in row 6 would be in R6, C1. Which would make this an odd number. For 2, it will be 1, 3, 7. Right? Now, by classic rules, I have a 4 and a 4. So my 4 has to be logged in this. Right? And when I look at the pair of numbers, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 7 which are missing from column 2. Hence, I can safely say the 4 will always be paired with a 3. So this has to be 4 and a 3. And with the 1 of column 1 logged in box 7, it has to be here. And it will always be paired with a 2, which leaves me with 5 and a 6. I cannot have a 5 in R1C1 because I already have a 5. So this is a 6. This becomes a 5. 4 and a 3. So this has to be a 1, 7. Go 6, 2, 6, 7. I have a 3 and an 8. 3 and 8. But I can't have an 8 beside a circle because the 7 and a 9 are logged here. So this has to be an 8. This becomes a 3. And with the 4 already available into the column, this will become 2. And this becomes a 1. Which leaves me with 5, 6, 5, 6. And this becomes an 8. This becomes a 7. This becomes my 9. Right? Now, For row 4, 1 is not here. 1 cannot be in the circle because the 2 is already occupied, so this becomes a 1. And my 4 would be logged in these 2. And since 3 is already occupied here, this has to be a 4, 5 and a 4, 5. So this becomes a 6. This becomes a 5. This becomes a 6 because the 4 is already logged in row 4, and this becomes a 7. And with the 6 logged there, this is a 2, this is a 3, and this has to be a 8, sorry, and this becomes my 9. And for row 5, the missing numbers are 2, 3 and 4, so this is 3, 2, 4, so 2 is gone. I cannot have a 1 with the circle, so this has to be a 1. That leaves me with 5 and 6. With the 6 already available here, this is a 5, this is a 6, this becomes a 5, this is a 4, and this would be a 1, right? And for an 8, this has to be a 7 because the 9 is locked, and 5 is gone, and this is a 9. Good so far? Which leaves me with 6 and 9 here. And here I require 3 and a 4. And 1 and a 2. Now 1 will never be in the central square, right? So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, which makes this a 2, this becomes a 1. Missing digits here are 1, 2 and 3, 1, 3, 2. And here are 3, 5 and 8. So this has to be a 3, 5, 8, 5, 8. Now the 5, if for columns 4 and 5 are locked, hence 5 has to be in these two. So this has to be a 5 because of this. This becomes, the system seems to be playing up today. So this becomes a 6, this becomes a 9. 4 and a 9 because we already have a 9. And this is a 8, 7, 4, 5, 8, 2, 4, and 6. And this was the beauty of the puzzle. I mean, I think this was one of the best consecutive pairs Sudoku that I've ever seen. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, share it with your friends, leave a feedback in the comments, or also if you wish to see a specific variant that you want us to solve, mention that in the comments. And if you have not already done so, I suggest you subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon so that you are notified as and when we upload new Sudokus for you. So till the next time, happy solving.